Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Why I can't hear me? I can't hear me. Y'all can hear me though. As long as y'all can hear me, that's the only thing that matters, huh? Ooh, there we go. Good. There we go. Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am TaylaAndre. Waking up with TaylaAndre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day. We link up at about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. Last week, Baby Rain was sick Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We missed each other, but on Wednesday, we still came through on the waking up with TaylaAndre from literally my bed. We woke up in my bed on Wednesday. And so if you missed that, it is online. You can go ahead and go check it out because I wanted to discuss what happened during the general election on Tuesday and all of the results that came in. And so we are super excited for those that did win in advance to go into the primaries. And we will be having conversations with all of those politicians in the up and coming future. Yesterday, so how was this weekend? This weekend was dope. On Friday, I don't remember what I did on Friday. What did I do? Oh, I went for a walk. I did some amazing workout on Friday. On Saturday, the nonprofit that I work with, we had a celebration for the young people who were part of the Boston CERT program. So it was, this is something that we talked about last week as far as the certified or those that are activated in case of an emergency, teaching you how to apply a tourniquet to stop the bleeding in a gunshot situation, in a tornado or hurricane or like natural disaster, to just activate young people for them to know what to do instinctively. And so we went ahead and honored them on Saturday for those that participated in the program this Saturday with their awards and their certificate, as well as a backpack filled with mad dope stuff. I would like to say my favorite thing in the whole bag was the fact that they have the suction straw, or the it's like a filtration straw, up to 3 years. If you drink a gallon of water every single day using this straw, for 3 years, you could use it drinking a gallon a day of dirty water that filtrates it into clean water. So I think that is, to me, the dopest thing on earth, because you could literally go anywhere, drink the water, and still be good. And then the second thing was like a crank radio. And so I've only heard about these in like old, like back in the day when I was a kid, we used to have a crank radio. So I never knew what the hell a crank radio is. It doesn't need batteries. It's a flashlight. It's a radio. It's a SOS alarm in case of an emergency. And so It's really dope. If you know anybody who wants to sign up for that program, it is available to Boston residents. And Dr. Tia Martin, my mentor, is the only one in Massachusetts who's not associated with a school that has this program. And so it is absolutely amazing and I love it. Yesterday, Sunday, Lord have mercy. Shout out to SparkFM. Shout out to Danielle, Hot Sauce. Shout out to all of our personalities, our IT. Everybody just made yesterday so amazing. If you missed it, you definitely, it was a whole movie. It was a family friendly movie, but it was a movie nonetheless. And it was so dope. The music was amazing. The food was great. You know, usually when you go out to an event and the food is whack and it sucks and it's food trucks that you don't even like. So what is it? Creole cuisine was there. I didn't say it right, but you know what I'm talking about. The Haitian food was out there. We also had Rockstone Triz Mama out there. Her food was dope. I'm a saltfish and ackee type of girl, and so it was amazing. I enjoyed myself. The music was on point. It was at no point in time did you feel like you had to go talk to the DJ, be like, yo, can you play another? Can you please play a different song? I have a request. It was none of that. It was just back to back to back, hit after hit after hit. The kids had a bouncy house. There was cotton candy, free pizza, line dancing, amazing vendors. One of the vendors that was at the event yesterday, we are going to have on the show talking about like, do you want to adopt an elder? Oh my gosh. And so from what I learned, for $3,000 a month, you can earn $3,000 a month by housing someone who is making their way back into community. If you have more time on your hands, you can go ahead and house someone that is more special needs and needs more attention. And that's like a $7,000 check to take care of somebody. I was like, hold on, what? Because there's so many people that have extra rooms in their house, that have guest setups in their house, and you an additional $3,000. And so when they sit down with you, they sit down to make sure, like, what is your life like? What is your work schedule like? What does your whole life look like? So we can pair you with someone who's matched for you. And what did she say? She was like, Tayla, we don't try and make anybody's life difficult. Like, this is not a job. These people need a place to call home. And on the other side, someone needs a check. And so I'm really excited to have this conversation. I was like, hold on, I can get paid for a grandmother? Like, I need a grandma. I need somebody who's gonna come cook me some Haitian food, Cape Verdean food, some Spanish food. She was just like, well, maybe this may not be the program for you, because trust me, I'm still looking for a Bretta. Like, I need a Volvo bad. And so Keith Michael went ahead and posted. So if you missed yesterday, y'all missed out. We've been promoting it on air. We've been promoting it on our social medias. I really wish you would have came out. And if you did, you already know how much fun you had. The kids had. They went to sleep early last night, didn't they? Sure did. And so Keith Michael made a comment about, hey, Tayla, I'm noticing people online, especially the YouTube streets, they are clowning Dr. Umar Johnson. And the truth of the matter is they've been clowning Dr. Umar Johnson for years. And so when you come out and you say, I'm going to open a school 10 years ago, mind you, he was on the Wake Up with TaylaAndre show before. He was like, he had a check mark next to his name. And so we've been talking about this school for literally almost a decade, and the school is non-existent, and he's still raising money. And so at first it was like, I'm raising $1 million. And it's never like truly been addressed on what it is that you're attempting to do. What is the plan behind what you're doing, and why is it taking you so long? I feel like none of that has ever truly been addressed in the manner in which people, community, especially people who gave money, who took out of their hard-earned checks to give to this idea of creating an Afrocentric all-boys school. And so, yes, are people clowning Dr. Umar Johnson? Absolutely. And the reason is because no one has held him accountable. When he came on the show a couple months ago, the first question we asked him was, what's going on with the school? His answer was contractors. Coming from the real estate side, I can understand that two parts. Contractors want to get paid all of their money up front. but they want to come and slide in and do the work when they get ready to do the work. So can I understand that everything has not been done because of contractors alone? No, because I can imagine, I actually have been in communication with HVAC individuals, contractors, plumbers, who's just like, Tayla, for the publicity alone, I do it for free. And so I can imagine there's plenty of people out here that would do the work and to get the work done. So I do think that there's more to the story or more behind the scenes that isn't being said. That's not my business though. He said what he said. Until we can debunk the truth, we only have to accept what was given to us, what was fed to us. And so are people clowning Dr. Umar Johnson? Yes, they are, because 10 years ago, he said he was raising $1 million for a school. I can't imagine, I would have never said $1 million. We are raising money for a school because if you know anything about real estate, $1 million for a building is nothing, especially in commercial space. What are you buying for $1 million commercial space that can house 500 boys? And remember, it wasn't just a school, it was like a boarding school type situation where you could send your child to school and they live on campus. So tell me where you were going to purchase that 10 years ago or 15 years ago for $1 million. And so I personally would have never attached a price tag. It would have been, this is what we're trying to do. I don't, who can work with me? Because I can't do this by myself. Who can work with me to make this dream a reality? And so that's why they are clowning Dr. Umar Johnson. What do you want me to do? I do what I can do, and that is to give you the information. When we interviewed him, we asked him all of the hard questions. We were not, I love the fact that you guys inboxed me and was like, Tayla, thank you for asking the hard questions that everybody want to just be starstruck. Like, ooh, Dr. Umar, that's great. That's fine, Dr. Umar. But these are questions and you need to be held accountable for the things that you said you were going to do. And so I digress. Moving on to the news. Mayor Thomas told us that Anthony Johnson, or AJ Johnson from Friday, the actor, comedian, my neck and my back, is dead. And he died at 55 years old. We lost an icon. He will be greatly missed, said his representative, Lena Bell. And so he was Ezel on Friday, and he has died. No additional information about his passing has been disclosed as of yet. We just know that we lost an icon and he will be greatly missed. We are praying for all those that were touched by his comedy, acting, and most of all by his life. We are especially praying for his beloved wife, children, siblings, and manager. Please give them the time they need to process and grieve such a huge loss. He was also in House Party, Menace to Society, Lethal Weapon 3. I Got the Hookup, and he actually has comedic actor credits for TV shows such as Martin and Malcolm and Eddie. And so he's been in the game for a long time. He got his big break in 1990 when he landed the role of Eazy-E in the Kid and Play classic House Party. And he also appeared in House Party 3. He was, that fake slip and fall, my neck and my back. And I think all of us have learned something from that role. I know I have, my neck and my back all the time. And so he will be missed. He's a part of the culture, because when you think about Friday, he's one of the characters that you think about. And so as soon as we find out what actually happened to him, I absolutely will report that to you. The former Joint Chief of Staff Chairman Mike Mullen says that the U.S. needs to be held accountable for the botched drone strike in Afghanistan. He is the former chair of the Joint Chief of Staff under the Bush and Obama, and said that U.S. needs to be held accountable for the drone strike that killed. How many times I told y'all about collateral damage? That's going to be in the form of a couple million, possibly $1 billion, depending on who the family was and what type of political clout that they have. Every single time we do some nonsense and engage in violence, overseas, it's collateral damage, and we, the taxpayers, end up paying for it. And so you might not know where your dollars go to, but this is one of the things that it pays for. It pays for the fact that we were in another country fighting terrorism and ended up killing a civilian family. And now we have to pay for it financially. But the head of the U.S. Central Command, General Frank McKenzie, publicly apologized for the attack that killed civilians with no connection to ISIS, including 7 children. It was almost like you had an individual in a truck who was loading big water bottles, all of which sort of fit. We just got caught up in the specifics of it. Before the attack on August 29th, a drone had observed men loading what were thought to be explosives, but they were actually jugs of water. Mullen brought up the reparations hinted in McKenzie's public apology and reviewed into the attack ordered by Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. And so condolences to the family. Imagine literally just loading a truck up for water, being a good doobie, being a good citizen, and helping out your fellow citizens, and 7 children ended up losing their life because of it. And so as far as intel is concerned, like, how did water bottles look like explosives? We will continue to follow that story as well. One of the biggest stories that nobody wants to cover as far as mainstream media is concerned. This is annoying. The border agents on horseback rounding up Haitian migrants after closing the Rio Grande crossing, where more than 15,000 have congregated under a Texas bridge. More than 300 have now been deported back to Haiti, and up to 8 flights a day are scheduled to deal with the crisis. And so more than 300 Haitians have returned to their homeland on Sunday. No one's talking about how did Haitians get to that tune? Like, not the trickle amount of a couple Haitians coming in from the border, but thousands, 15,000 of them, and more are supposed to be coming in. And so where are all my Haitian listener viewers at? Because there was some videos that were posted of interviews of some of the migrants, and they were talking about how they got to America and like what happened. They were like, oh no, we didn't. I understood a couple words. I understood bagay and pasaporte. So I understood that they came over here without a passport. That's all I understood. And so if you have seen any of those videos, please give us a call, 617-272-3387. I do want to understand, how did they get here, and who is responsible for bringing them to the North America? They were on an island, and now they're in North America. Central America, making their way to North America. They said that they were forced to sleep on the floor with plastic tops as they were being processed. One official said the Department of Homeland Security would likely send 5 to 8 flights of migrants out per day, starting on Sunday, with another expected no more than 2 a day. The plan also includes increasing the number of border patrols in the area by sending 400 agents and officers by Monday, if necessary. Haitian migrants are using a dam to cross into and from the U.S. and Mexico, and staying shaded near a bridge. The Del Rio Mayor Bruno Lanzo said Saturday that there was so far 14,534 immigrants at the camp. So it means that at some point they have had to process them for them to have that exact number. Hey, G Good VOG, how are you? Good rising to you. Good rising to everyone. Mike Nice, what's going on with you? We have a couple more minutes before we reach the top of the hour. NYPD cop, a New York cop, is pictured riding a bike in these streets, a street bike without a helmet, on the back of a dirt bike in Brooklyn, just days after the department announced a crackdown on illegal bikes, which are not permitted on city streets. And so we are very familiar here in Boston about what that looks like as far as street bikes are concerned. But imagine a Boston police officer on the back of one of them after BPD done said, we cracking down. And so I could say right here in Boston, we ain't cracking down. We just left them alone. As long as they ain't doing stupid stuff, I feel like we just left them alone because they be weaving in and out of traffic all day long to the tune of, what's the most that I ever seen? 50 one time and then 34 another time. And they are deep as hell. And the cops they don't even bother. they don't even, it's not even an issue anymore. But the cop was seen in the video riding on the back of an illegal dirt bike while the rider performed different tricks. The video obtained by reports surfaced just days after New York City and the NYPD announced a crackdown on illegal dirt bikes and ATVs. Neither are legally allowed on New York City streets, but have become more prevalent in recent months. The NYPD is aware of the video and the incident and said it is currently under investigation. But like everything else, we investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong. He's going to get a slap on the wrist, as he should, because it's a dirt bike. And just like Meek Mills had to go to jail for some ridiculousness, I don't. That is not. Do I think they could have better driving? Yes. Are they annoying? Yes. But at the end of the day, I would rather have these little kids on the back of bikes than looking for guns. Personal opinion. Refund the police, not defund, but refund. Woke Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot set to unveil a budget that boosts spending on crime-hit cities' police department. And so Mayor Lightfoot went ahead and defund the police, and now she is refunding the police. She aims to bolster funding to recruit the next generation of police in a way that reflects diversity of the city. This is a complete U-turn from Lightfoot's proposal last year, which cut about $59 million or 3.3% and 600 vacant positions from the department. This comes 1 year of violent crimes and contention between Lightfoot and the police department. Over the Labor Day weekend, at least 47 people were shot and 2 were killed, including a 4-year-old boy during the weekend of violence. And so we reported on that, how many shootings took place. Recently here in Boston, there was a baby girl who got grazed by a bullet. Like, it's crazy. I miss the days, and this may sound really weird, but I truly do miss the days where the code of the streets was actually honored. And so at 38 years old, I do remember the code of the streets. And I do remember like elders talking about things that you can and can't do. People who, violated code, like you shot a woman, you don't shoot a woman, and being held accountable. And like, I remember dudes used to be messed up for killing a kid or killing a woman. Like it was, once upon a time, there weren't an abundance of stray bullets. Once upon a time, you killed who you was aiming for. And all this nonsense of just shooting to shoot. How Nas say accident? He said accident murderers. Yeah, that's what it is. Accident murderers. Like you were shooting with your eyes closed and missed and shot a grandmother. Once upon a time, you would have been shot dead for that act because it went against code. And so there is no code anymore. Like that's just non-existent in any shape or form. And what happened? I would love to know what happened. Once upon a time, you were able to shoot the fair ones and it was one-on-one. That's true too. That's true. What up, Janet? Yo, shout out to Janet. Janet was in the building yesterday. She was out there being an amazing volunteer, helping with the young people, Janet was all over the place. Like she was everywhere. And Janet, were you on stage when we took our group picture? Because you should have been honorary intern. You should have absolutely been on stage. The autopsy of a body found in the search of Gabby Petito is set for Tuesday. The FBI finds human remains at the Spread Creek campsite in Wyoming, and her father paid tribute to Gabby, who touched the world as a person of interest. Boyfriend still remains missing. So this is the second time that a young lady went on a scavenger hunt with her boyfriend. The boyfriend comes back and the girlfriend does not. And so the first time it was a police officer, and the person of interest, the police officer, What are you saying, Bill? That's a dropped his gun and went off. It was a little girl's dad and it was an accident. Let's not bash. Yes, I am going to bash. It was an accident. But when you go and you get your firearm license, you are taught what you're supposed to do and how it's like, if your gun was in your holster the way that it should have been in your holster, if you were concealing your weapon properly, there's no way that it could have fell and accidentally went off. And so, yes, just because it was a daddy, it was an accident and he didn't mean it, doesn't mean you don't be held accountable. I'm not bashing him, but accountability is real. I don't know why we so scared of accountability. If you did something, you did it. And if I did not properly secure my weapon. Bill, you be for accountability. Let's be accountable across all boards. I understand it was an accident. What is the circumstances of him having it? Does the circumstance matter? If he was a licensed concealed carry, it doesn't matter. Like, if he has his weapon, he has his weapon. If I'm licensed and I have my weapon, I don't have to atone. Like, I don't, no. If you're licensed, you're licensed to carry. If you carry it, at least know how to secure it. And I understand what you're saying, Bill. I get it. But I also want him to be held accountable. So the autopsies authorities announced yesterday afternoon that they found the body at the Bridger-Teton National Forest, where police had been searching for Gabby, who was reported missing on September 11th. The autopsy is set for Tuesday to confirm the body is hers and determines the cause of death. Sunday, Gabby's family shared footage from a YouTube taken at Spread Creek Campground on August 27th, where the investigators were searching, that appears to capture the pair's white Ford Transit van. It's a very important piece of information as it pretty much starts the timeline. The new video of the actual van being seen on the 27th appears legit. Police are searching for Gabby's fiance and travel partner, Brian Lauderdale, in the alligator-infested Carlton Reserve in Florida, where they believe he's hiding out. And so Gabby was last seen on August 24th, leaving a hotel with her fiance. During the pair's cross-country trip, she last spoke with her parents on the phone from the Grand Teton National Park on August 25th. Police said that her fiance returned to his home in Florida on September 1st, but fled on Tuesday, according to his parents, who believed that he had gone to the Carlton Reserve. Hours before his disappearance was announced, the 18-year-old driving to the protest snapped a photo of a man who looked a heck of a lot like the fiance about 2 blocks from Northport home. And so I can't wait for them to find him. And having a daughter, it does make, like, a whole fiance. This wasn't no dude she went to the club with and then came up missing. So, like, this was a whole fiance. Met your parents, met the pastor, y'all about to walk down an aisle and on a cross-country trip. And mind you, what if it was an accident? Like, oh, she accidentally fell in and was eaten by alligator. Like, whatever the situation was, I can see how that could get spicy. Like, what had happened was, I don't know. Cleveland mayor's grandson, 24, is shot multiple times and killed in the city's east side. Frank Q. Jackson, the grandson of Mayor Frank G. Jackson, was shot dead near the Garden Valley Estates public housing complex in Cleveland on Saturday night. Police said there are currently no suspects or motive for the shooting and didn't provide any other details. The mayor has not released a statement. Victims had several run-ins with police and was currently facing a felony assault charge in connection with a July incident. And listen, like, the reason why these stories are so important to me, there's so much going on, like under, I don't want to say behind the curtains, but like, I'm trying to find language. We be so caught up in people's lives, their stories, their whole social media, that we are disconnected to what's really going on in the real world and what is taking place. And so I have a friend who has an Instagram, and it's just like, this is for entertainment. I live in the real world, and many of us do not live in the real world. And so I just want to remind you that cop sees 2 kilos of cocaine, a gold-plated handgun, and nearly $44,000 in cash in searches on homes after routine traffic stop of a nervous man in Texas. His name is Humberto Monteverde. He's 29, was caught speeding in Port Arthur on Thursday. Officers found a kilo of cocaine inside of the car after he allowed them to search it. Later, they uncovered another kilo of coke, a rifle, a gold-plated gun, and nearly $44,000 in cash. In cash from 2 nearby homes in the area. A kilo of cocaine outside of South America goes for $10,000 to $20,000. The gold-plated gun featured a wreath design on the barrel, and he was charged with manufacturing and delivering a controlled substance. The charge is punishable from 15 to 99 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. But there are people who literally rape people and get 3 years. Thomas, you leaving me? Have a good day. Okay. Federal auto safety regulators open a probe into nearly 30 million vehicles which may have defective Takata airbag inflators. And so the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration on Friday opened an engineering analysis into an estimated 30 million American vehicles. The agency is expected to make an announcement about the investigation on Monday. It includes vehicles made by Honda, Ford, Toyota, General Motors, Nissan, Subaru, Tesla, Ferrari, Mazda, BMW through 2001 to 2019, 30 million American vehicles. The automakers were reportedly notified about the investigation. Takata airbag inflators can send deadly metal fragments flying. There have been at least 28 deaths worldwide, including 19 in the United States, all tied to the faulty Takata inflators, and more than 400 injuries. 30 million vehicles that are part of the new investigation have inflators with a desiccant or drying agent. Hold on, I don't know this word and I want to know the proper pronunciation. So we're just going to search this. It's like the silica gel, like those things that you find in like the bottom of chips and stuff. But how do you pronounce it? Desiccant. Yes, okay. A desiccant drying agent in it. And so, forgive me, but I just want to stand on the soapbox for a second. All right, so out of 30 million American vehicles, so far we know that 28 people have died worldwide. We also know that 19 people have died in the United States, and there have been more than 400 injuries, and they are doing an investigation, a thorough investigation. I would like to bring it back to the MMR vaccine that 15 people died. And because 15 people died, they halted the entire vaccine process and ended up recalling everything and like starting back at the drawing board. Right now, there are over 6,000 people that have died due to COVID-19 vaccine. And yet it has not been recalled. They have not halted it. They keep steamrolling it. And now it's available for young people. And so I have questions and I am concerned. And the reason why I have questions and the reason why I'm concerned is because listen, I have a colleague of mine that has been fully vaccinated since he was age appropriate or age eligible to get the vaccine and has been fully vaccinated. This man has got COVID twice since being fully vaccinated. So if you're going to catch COVID with a vaccine or without a vaccine, why? Like, what's the point of having the vaccine if I can still catch COVID? Well, it increases your chances of being able to beat it. Everyone I know that had COVID beat it and are unvaccinated. And so, like, if I have questions, I have too many questions because my soul will not let me trust the United States government for a damn thing. I can't trust the United States government with my food. I don't trust them with my water. And it's not because, oh my God, I'm a conspiracy theorist. It's because facts and proof. I can't trust you with my food. When Michael Tayla sat at the FDA and then went to Monsanto and then went back to the FDA to change some shit around to go back to Monsanto to make some more money, no, I can't trust you. When fluoride has been in our water for decades, no, I can't trust you. When the pesticides that are on our foods are the same pesticides that we sprayed Vietnam with, no, I can't trust you. And when you create a vaccine that has no 3-year testing, no 5-year testing, no 18-month testing, but came out and was rolled out and is, vaccine, Monsanto, Moderna, Pfizer, Australia, Lunica are intertwined with the United States government, you benefit for everybody who gets vaxxed. I don't trust you. When Henrietta Lacks family is still waiting for their money, I don't trust you. When y'all didn't even pay Henrietta Lacks family, they had to come sue you. I can't trust you. When you don't attempt to cure cancer, when you don't attempt to cure AIDS, but all you want is people to maintain on all of these medications, I don't trust you. And then you have all of these unbought doctors that keep coming out and saying, listen, this is problematic. It's problematic, and you guys may not see the fruits of your labors now. But in 3 years and 5 years, when women are having stillborns, when women are 8 months pregnant and getting the shot and the baby come out not breathing, I don't trust you. I'm not saying that I want more children in the future. I'm just saying you ain't finna sterilize me though, nor my kids. And at the end of the day, that is what is being suspected because of so many people having stillborns and having miscarriages and not being able to conceive. And so an Atlanta man calls 911 after being shot and gets placed on hold multiple times. The waiter's coworkers decided not to wait for our first responders and drove the injured man to the hospital instead. Yes? Yes? How can I help you? I guess you don't want help. And so the restaurant worker in Buckhead area of Atlanta got an unfortunate example of what it means to be placed on hold by the police. A waiter at the Mediterranean seafood restaurant Kaima says that he witnessed 2 men trying to enter a car while on his 7:30 break. One spotted the man was shot before both men sped off in a getaway car. Thankfully, he was not fatally injured in the ordeal, and the bullet only struck his arm. Yes? How can I help you? And so he kept calling the police. They kept leaving him on hold. And so his coworkers had to drive him to the hospital. And that's hilarious, but crazy at the same time. Hotel Rwanda. So there is a man who inspired Hotel Rwanda, and he's currently being convicted of terror charges. So a court in Rwanda. How can I help you? What? Oh, we're on air. We're live. So the man who inspired Hotel Rwanda convicted of terror charges. And so a court in Rwanda says that Paul Ressa, I am going to butcher his name and I don't want to, has been found guilty of terror-related offenses. And so what makes it hard to believe, and not really hard to believe, but when you watch Hotel Rwanda and you see like all of the good that he did, and you're just like, no, there's no way that the man who inspired this awe-inspiring movie is, guilty of charges. But a court in Rwanda says that the man who inspired Hotel Rwanda has been found guilty on terror-related charges. He boycotted Monday's announcement after declaring he didn't expect justice in a trial that he called a sham. He so far has been convicted of the formation of an illegal armed group, membership in a terrorist group, and financing a terror group. The verdict is still being read on charges of murder, abduction, and armed robbery as an act of terrorism. He was charged along with 20 other people. The ruling comes more than a year after Paul disappeared during a visit to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and appeared days later in Rwanda in handcuffs, accused of supporting the armed wing of his opposition political party. Rwandan Movement for Democratic Change, the group had claimed some responsibility for attacks in 2018 and 2019 in the south of the country, in which 9 Rwandans died. Sabaganda, how do you say his name again? So Paul maintained his innocence. He and his family alleges that he was kidnapped and taken to Rwanda against his will, but the court ruled that he wasn't kidnapped when he was tricked into boarding a chartered flight. Rwanda's government has asserted that he was going to Burundi to coordinate with armed groups based there in Congo. Paul is credited with saving more than 1,000 people by sheltering them at a hotel he managed during the 1994 genocide in Rwanda, in which more than 80,000 Tutsis and Hutus tried to protect them were killed. Paul, who is a Belgian citizen and a U.S. resident who was awarded the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom, has asserted that his arrest was in response to his criticism of longtime Rwandan President Paul Kagame over alleged human rights abuse. Paul said he was gagged and tortured before he was jailed, but Rwandan authorities deny it. His attorney asserts that Paul's legal papers were confiscated by prison authorities. His family fears that he might die from poor health behind bars. He is an elder, and he looks like an elder. They don't give his age, but his trial has drawn international concern. In December, 36 U.S. senators wrote the president of Rwanda, urging them to release Paul. And listen, when Paul says that he is innocent, I believe Paul is innocent. He said that they say that he was tricked into boarding a chartered flight, and he's been speaking out against the government and the human rights violations that his government has engaged in. And I truly believe that he is a political prisoner, because he is speaking out against the insanity that's taking place. And if you know the corruption is crazy in Africa. The heads of states get millions upon millions of dollars to basically suppress their own people. And I think because I'm an American and I've been in a society where we don't look like those that are in control, going to Ethiopia and see your president's black, all the police officers are black, every politician is black, everybody looks like you. When you as an American, a black American, an indigenous American, American of color, when you go to an African country and you see all of these beautiful shades of black, and everyone's black, my president's black, my Lambo too, and my politicians. I don't have to choose, but like it is such an amazing feeling that it's so difficult for me to understand. Why would you want to suppress your own people when like the amount of money and resources and human capital that you could be utilizing for the greater good of Africa? Like, it just blows my mind why you would suppress millions of your people for a couple of dollars when y'all could be getting money together. And so that's my soapbox. I'm going to come off now because we're going to go ahead and pay some of these bills. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Just Do It, and not the Nike version of Just Do It, but how to stop procrastinating. So many of us have things that we want to do, things that we want to accomplish, things that we want to pursue, but we are not, like, procrastination is we get in our own way all of the time. How many times have you set a goal for yourself and you keep getting in your own way? That's what we're going to talk about. Get out of your own way. Stop procrastinating. Baby, you can do it. Take your time. Do it right. We can do it. You can do it. And everything that you want and everything that you achieve will automatically come to you. You have to raise your vibration. You got to get out of this 3D life that you're currently living and come up to the 5D, baby. It's great up here. The sun is warm. The breeze feels good. The food is absolutely amazing. And you're not even hungry. You just want some sunlight.
Call SparkFM at 617-272-3387.
What's an opinion, Bill? That's an opinion. That's not happening. What's an opinion? So as far as the father who had the gun, I'm not opposed to going to have a conversation with the father and finding out why did he have a gun? What happened for it to fall out? I'm not the police, but I do want to know. I want to know what happened. Accident or no accident? Why was your gun unsecured? I'm not afraid. I'll have that conversation.
It's called Mass Notify. Mass Notify can alert you to possible exposures to COVID-19 right on your smartphone. It's anonymous, safe, and secure, and your location is never tracked. You just activate it. Help Massachusetts RealEstate. Add your phone to the file. To find out more, go to mass.gov/massnotify. That's mass.gov/massnotify.
Hi, it's Tayla. In every family, small conversations make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked.
This is the first time I heard this commercial.
Silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations. Like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic. Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
What did Bill say? Stillborns? Stillborns is the real thing. I have a cousin that is directly affected by it. Got the vaccine, asked me if she should get the vaccine. I told her that I absolutely would not get the vaccine, but if that's what she want to do with her life, I can't make the decisions for her. And so she went ahead and got the vaccine, and when that baby was born, it came out as stillborn. The baby had no other issues, no problems, no nothing. Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am TaylaAndre. Waking up with TaylaAndre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day. We link up about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. And so today is the day that the Lord had made. Bill and I are going back and forth talking about stillborns due to COVID-19 vaccine. And I have a direct relation with seeing it happen for myself and seeing this ain't no Nicki Minaj situation. My cousin in Trinidad's friend's auntie's brother said this is a direct correlation. And if there's nothing wrong due to the COVID vaccination, she had a stillborn. She had no medical issues. The baby had no medical issues. They urged her and told her, we really want you to get the vaccine. We really want you to get the vaccine. We think you should get the vaccine. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for the baby. She went ahead and had the vaccine, and she had a stillborn. So I'm sorry if my correlation is just You were healthy, the baby was healthy. Now all of a sudden you don't have a baby. Of course, the hospital is not going to be like, oh yeah, we're sorry about pressuring you to get the vaccine. Like certain things there's certain things you don't like need definitive proof. There's certain things your soul just knows. And my soul knows that I will not be moving forward with a vaccine. Procrastination, I'm gonna leave, for what I'm gonna do for real is I'm gonna leave the vaccine alone. Like I'm not speaking on it anymore. If that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. I am pro-choice. If you want to get an abortion at 9 months, that's your business. That's not you. What Jay-Z said, what you eat don't make me shit. And we be so concerned about what other people do. It doesn't make any sense. Bill, was it the shot or am I assuming? Bill, please tell me any other reason why that baby is not here today. The baby was healthy. She was healthy. The baby is no longer here. Please give me any idea. Like babies just don't be 7 months old, healthy, and all of a sudden just die. Like, no, it doesn't happen. You work around COVID testing. I understand you work around COVID testing. I have been around COVID testing. So what I'm going to do is, you guys know where I stand. I'm no longer speaking on it. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know where I stand. Baby Rain ain't never been vaccinated from a damn thing. He walked out the hospital without any shots. Asaria was 2 years old. Anari was 3 years old. That was the last time they got shots. Anari just turned 18 years old. My kids is never sick. That's where I stand. The last day that they got shot, I remember it like it was yesterday. Anari was crying. Asaria was crying. They got home. They were sick for a week. Like they were sick on ends and sick and sick and sick. And I was just like, I'm never doing this again. I was a young mom, but my soul told me then, today's the day. Today's the last day. And today's going to be the last day that I speak about any type of vaccines, unless we're specifically having a show on vaccines. Because I don't, if that's what you choose to do, I don't want to be the deterrent between your choices. I believe in pro-choice. As long as your choice does not impede on me in any way, shape, or form, I don't care what other people do at all, as long as it does not interfere with my life. And so how do we stop procrastinating? So what is procrastination? Procrastination is putting things off, putting it off for another day, putting it off until something pops off. How many times, so that is my stance, but I support anyone and everyone else's decision. Putting things off, like why put off for tomorrow what you can do today? And there's so many times that we procrastinate on things, and then when you finally do it, like I'm speaking from my own experience, there's been so many things I procrastinating on, and then when I did it, I was like, yo, that was mad easy. Like I could have done that months ago. What the hell I was waiting for? That's how I felt when I wrote the book. The book was hard. It was tedious. It was annoying. There's still things that need to be updated and fixed in the book right now today. But it was just like, yo, why did I make this such a daunting task? Why did I make this such a heavy lift? And it wasn't that heavy. It's like not wanting to go to the grocery store, not wanting to go, like anything, just putting it off. Procrastination takes up real estate in your mind. It gives you unnecessary stress. And when you know that you have to do something and you continuously put it off, it's still like in the back of your mind running, taking up this space about what you need to do, what you should do, what you think you want to do. But is it something you really want to, like, it's there. And you could be utilizing that space for something completely different. And so let's talk about how to stop procrastinating, because we all know how to procrastinate, but how do you stop procrastinating? And so step one, break your work into little steps. I have a notebook. I meet with my mentor twice a week. I have a book of the things that I want to accomplish, the things that she wants me to help her accomplish, and the things that the organization needs to accomplish. When I took a meditative stance and just looking through the book to see like what has been done for 2021. And first of all, I can't believe I've taken up so much real estate in this notebook. I was like, I'm never going to use this notebook. I use the notebook for everything. I write everything down. My memory is not 100%, but guess what? If it's written down, I don't ever have to remember because I will never forget because it's on paper. And so breaking it down into little steps. One of the things that we wanted to do on the nonprofit side, so next leadership development, remember I was like, do you guys need food baskets? Do you not guys need gift cards? Call this number, take down this QR code. And so I am working with Next Leadership Development Corporation. And one of the things that we wanted to do was to create a Black city hall. And so a place where Black people can go for resources and Black people can like have, just resources that 311 wasn't making it. And so Dr. Martin, being in government, being the chief resilient officer for the city of Boston under Mayor Marty Walsh, she saw how the details of City Hall worked and certain things weren't happening the way that they should be happening or as quickly as they could be happening. And so she was like, listen, we can do this ourselves. Like, we don't need City Hall to save us. We can save ourselves. And so last year we talked about having our own call center in the form of like a 311 where people could call and ask questions about COVID. They could get their questions answered. If they needed any type of resources, they could be paired up with these resources. Some of these resources are like intricate and different setups that you have to do. And so having having someone help you or walk you through those resources. And I was just like, yo, this sounds like it is going to be the hardest thing on it. Like, this is so difficult. How do you just create a whole call center? How do you navigate? And oh my gosh, it was so heavy. It was like, I don't know how the hell we're going to get through this. And then when I go through the notebook, it's like step by step by step by step. Well, first we have to do this, and then we have to do this, and then we got to contact these people. Then you got to work with these individuals. Then you set it up like this. And so breaking it down into little steps. And part of the reason why we procrastinate is because subconsciously we find that the work is too overwhelming. But if you break it down into little parts and then focus on one part at the time, going back to the book that I wrote, the step-by-step guide for people preparing for home ownership. Home ownership is a daunting task. It's a really heavy lift, and nobody wants to just jump into it. And so that's the book goes step by step. The first thing that you do, the first thing that you understand, and then step 1, and then step 2, and then it makes it more digestible. You don't take a whole steak and shove it in your mouth. You cut it up into little bits and pieces and then eat them one by one. We procrastinate because we feel like it's too much work. But if you break down the work, you can go ahead and make it easier. And the way that I broke down the book was just like, okay, what's one of the first steps? What's one of the first things I do? Okay, check. Let's talk about this whole step process of the first thing I do with my client is I go through the full walkthrough. This is exactly what it runs through. The first page, that's exactly what the first page is. This is the run through of what it is when I have conversations with clients so they have an understanding of what comes first, and then breaking it down into chapters, and then breaking it down into chapters made it so much easier to write instead of having like, oh my God, how am I just going to write a book? It's completely different. It's like, well, how do I write a chapter? Okay, great. What bullet points do I need in this chapter? And just write to the bullet points. There have been so many people who hit me up and it's just like, Tayla, I want to write a book. I'm inspired. You inspired me to write a book, but I don't know where to begin. The first thing to do is to start. Because if you keep waiting for the right time is never going to come. The right time is never going to come for you to propose. The right time is never going to come for you to have a baby. The right time is never going to come for you to go to school. The right time is never going to come for you to quit your job. Now, circumstances might arise where it feels like it's less daunting and more acceptable for you to do these things during this timeline or in this time frame. But you are never going to be 100% prepared for anything. And so sometimes you just got to do it. And that's why the name of the show today is Just Do It. Stop procrastinating and get it done. Sometimes you have to change your environment. Sometimes a difference in environment can change, have a huge impact on productivity. And so I don't mean just environment, like you have to leave out the state, you have to leave out the country. Listen, sometimes when I'm at my desk in the office, I'll move to another desk. Mind you, nobody's in the office. I'm the only one there. And so I can move to any of all of the desks. And it's a different environment. It's a different feng shui. Your body is now, working differently, interacting differently with space. Sometimes I do need a break from the monotony from going into the office. And sometimes I just stay in the studio and get work done. And I get a lot of work done. And so changing your environment can drastically change your results. And so maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe changing your environment. And again, I want to go back. Oh, Kathy, listen here, Bill. If you're still here, Kathy said my friend had a stillborn, but way before vaccination. Okay, never mind, Bill. That did not prove my point anymore. But Kathy, my condolences to your friend. Losing a child is difficult. Losing a child is absolutely difficult. Being a woman, losing a child, you thinking like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? You take that it becomes your problem. Like you're the reason why that baby's not here. And so my condolences to her. Andrea, what's going on? Procrastination is a disease. Discipline and consistency is key. And a lot of people don't like discipline. A lot of people don't like consistency. It was, oh my gosh, one of the most difficult things for me right now as far as discipline is concerned is keeping my bed made. And so I love being hugged and snugged and tightly tucked in to my bed, but I hate I hate it. And I know there's a book called, is it called Make Your Bed or something like that? And it talks about like how consistency, or Bill says that he sends his best to your friend's family as well, Kathleen. And so in order to stop procrastinating, first of all, break it down to little steps. Change your environment. Sometimes going outside, and this is why I'm so mad at the education system. When it comes to our children's education, we are like, sit in this classroom, head forward, feet on the thing, hands folded. And I don't say that facetiously. Asaria School, Anari School, Edward Brook Charter School, feet flat on the floor, back against the chair, hands crossed and on your desk. That was a real effing thing that they had these kids doing. I'm like, yo, that's unrealistic, because when I go to work, that's not how I work. My ass be up here, feet up, leg up, crisscross applesauce. I might be on the floor doing a yoga pose. Like, this is unrealistic for you to have these kids thinking like people go to work like this and look like little robots. That's not real life. Creating a detailed timeline with specific deadlines. Listen, for all them, that was gibberish, right? Because putting yourself on it. Listen, you tell me what to do, I don't want to do it because you told me what to do. I'm that person. I'm a Taurus. I'm hard-headed. I hate it and I love it at the same time. And so I understand how creating a detailed timeline with specific deadlines is, like, you're turned off. You no longer even want to do it. It doesn't have to be as difficult as we've made it. And when we come from these institutions that make you put your back up, feet down, hands crossed, like that's why women love the bad boys. That's why we love the risk takers. That's why because we want to do things outside the box and abnormal. So do it abnormal, like create a timeline that's from, before I die. Create a specific deadline. Like, for instance, taking it back to school, when you had a paper that was due, they would break it down for you. Like, your rough draft is due a week from today. Your third rough draft is due 4 weeks from today. Your final revised copy is due on X date. Break it down for you. And so for specifically for me, when it came to my birthday, I wanted to have the book out by my birthday. And I did. I met that goal. And the goal was to get it out by my birthday. Again, mistakes galore, spelling galore. The book, when you read the book sound like me. I've literally talked to text the whole book. And so it sounds like my first person voice. But the point was to get the book out by my birthday, deadlined with specific details. And so the details was I wanted the book to be on Amazon before my birthday. The book, if you go to Amazon.com, it is published on Amazon May 18th, 2020, because I just came up on a year anniversary, which is crazy to me. Like last year, I published a book. And it's on Walmart.com. It's on Amazon.com. It's crazy to me, but I absolutely love it. Eliminating your procrastination pit stops. And so if you are a procrastinator, if you procrastinate a little bit too much, it's really easy for you to procrastinate. Identify what takes up your time. Identify what is it that you're spending time on. Take a look at your screen time on your phone. Are you spending too much time playing games? Are you spending too much time on social media? Are you what's your productivity look like? Because your phone will tell you your emails a form of productivity. Are you in your emails or are you in your social media? Take a look at your productivity and see what is it that you're doing and what is it accomplishing for you, if anything. How are you wasting your time? Are you at home supposed to be working, but you're getting up, going to the refrigerator? Go ahead and take your phone and let it record you. And so was that China McClain? I don't think it was China McClain. It was somebody on social media that I follow that was just like, I did not know I wasted that much time throughout my day. And so it was literally an hour. Utilized the phone and recorded herself for 1 hour of what work time actually looked like. And she went through and she was just like, this is not work time. I was not working. I wasn't getting things done. I got out 16 times. I don't even know what the hell I got up for. I was walking around the house. At one point, I took a phone call and it was just like, how much are you what is it that is taking away from your time and helping you procrastinate? Are you texting? Are you talking? Are you social media? Are you cleaning and not even properly cleaning? And I recently did this, was a TikTok. I went down a TikTok rabbit hole where they say you can get more done. And those memes just like, I can get more done when somebody say they on their way than I do on an entire Sunday. It's because when you're focused, you're not over here doing a little dish, brooming a little floor, wipe a little table, vacuum a little bit. You are actually focused. And if you set a timer, so this is what I've been doing for my own self and doing kitchen, doing laundry, is setting a timer. Again, making my bed is a daunting task. And so I went ahead and set my timer. I bet I can make my bed in 10 minutes. I actually did it in 6. And I was just like, this whole is 6 minutes. I've been procrastinating all day for 6 minutes. All day procrastinating for 6 minutes. And I could have got it done. It was wrapped up, laid up, hugged up by my bed. Procrastination. Hang out with people who inspire you to take action. How many times are you hanging out with people who allow you to procrastinate? People who don't care if you're procrastinating. People who see you bullshit and just is okay with you bullshitting. I'm not that friend. I had somebody call me the other day I just want to vent. I'm not that. We ain't friends because I don't want to hear you vent. What's the solution? What solutions do we need? Call me when you want to solve a problem. Don't call me just to talk. I don't want to hear that. To my friends, I do want to hear that. But this particular one, I'm not a dumping ground. I am not a trash barrel. You're not about to just put your trash on me. That's a whole nother conversation for another day, for a Motivational Monday, because a lot of us are use other people as dumping grounds. and we are not dumping grounds. And all of that energetically, when I talk to you, I feel so much better. Yeah, that's because you just dumped everything on me and left. And now I'm over here filled with all of your anxiety and your stress and your insanity. I don't need this in my life. But how many times do we allow people to dump on us? And how many times do we dump on other people? And it really does not benefit anything. You know what? The best thing to do if you need to dump something, go to a trash and have word vomit. Literally, go to a trash and just have word vomit and let it all out and literally dump it there. Talk to God. Leave me alone. Leave me out of it. Hang out with people who inspire you, people who are going to hold you accountable, people who are going to tell you like, this is unacceptable. Get out of this rut. Stop speaking bad about yourself. So I recently posted on Instagram something that Faith Naturals posted, and I 100% agree with it. The universe doesn't know when you're joking. The universe doesn't know when you're just playing. The universe doesn't know when you're saying things just to say things. You are in a constant vibration of creation. Every single thing that you think about, every single thing that you say out loud is a form of creation. And we spend so much of our time creating the things that we don't want in our life. When, for instance, I have a friend of mine who wants to be married. She wants to be married so bad. She wants to be married and she wants to have a kid. But everything she posts on social media is F men ain't ish, men are this, I can't stand a man that do that. You just telling the universe that the man that you want in your life don't even exist. Hang around people who are going to help you get your mind right. And mind you, I am 10 years deep into changing my mind. This is a never-ending cycle. It never stops because your brain never stops. And if you're listening to certain music, if you're watching certain TV shows, your brain is going to replay these things over and over again. I absolutely hate the fact that I love Game of Thrones. Listen, I made it all the way until literally. So it was, I was pregnant with baby Rain. I watched season 1 through 7 or 1 through 8 during my pregnancy. And I literally had to wait like a month before season 9 came out or like whatever the last season was. And so everybody was so mad at me, like, oh my God. I wasn't into it then. I didn't care about it then. But today, like, there's so much violence in it and so much like head chopping and stabbing and like sadistic stuff that Joffrey was a clown, but like so much sadistic stuff. Like I can't even watch it because then I go to bed and I'm like, how do you think it felt to have a rusty knife go through? Like it just, I can't. You have to be mindful of all of those things and, you know, being around people, but also your environment plays a role into your procrastination. What you watch, what you listen to, the music you play, all of that plays a role into your procrastination. How do you stop procrastinating? Stop doing the things that not like coax you into it, but like promotes your ability to procrastinate. Get a friend. You know, this goes hand in hand with hanging out with people who inspire you to take action, listening to things that inspire you to take action, being mindful of like your eye gates, your ear gates, everything that you absorb. Everything you absorb plays a role into how your day plays out. And so if you have a friend that's just like, yo, I'm trying to go to the mall and spend this money. I'm trying to get me a sugar daddy. You know, just nonsense. Just hanging out with people who aren't about anything, that are okay with, you know, just going with the flow of whatever. Like it just, if that's what you choose to do, then don't get mad at yourself when you're not producing the fruits that you truly believe you deserve. And so if you are out here figging it, you're not going to create apples. You're going to be a fig tree because you out here figging it. But if you out here appling it, I don't know what it means to be an apple, but if you out here being an apple, that's what the fruits of your labor are going to be. So hang out with people who inspire you to take action. Get you a friend that holds you accountable. Tell other people about your goals, because when you tell other people about your goals, that's like, it's that part. And so what's absolutely insane. I recently signed up to take Cape Verdean Creole classes. And so you guys know, my mom's Cape Verdean, my dad's Black, and I barely speak English, but I speak English like I come from a different country. It's sad, but that was my public school education level. And so I am and have been talking about, learning how to speak Creole and taking classes. And Asari and I recently signed up for classes. And what's funny is somebody sent me an inbox message just like, Tayla, how's classes coming? And it was just like, what's ironic is I spoke to this individual like 4 years ago about taking classes, and the class was always full. And I finally got in this year to an unfull class. And I was just like, yo, I'm so glad you checked up on me. I start classes next week. I'm super excited. And when you tell people what your goals are and what it is that you want to do, like, even if it's not holding you accountable per se, like, hey, Tayla, whatever happens to you writing a book? It's just like, oh, well, I gave up on that. No, well, why'd you give up on that? You told me that you were really excited to do it. And so think about how many times your kids told you that they wanted to do something. And you're like, whatever happened to this thing? You're just like, well, I'm not quite sure if I want to do it. Well, is it something you're still interested in? Is it something you want to move forward with? Yeah, you know what? It is. And so having someone like telling other people about your goals, not necessarily your ace or your right hand or your accountability partner, but telling other people who can kind of like, oh, hey, whatever happened to such and such? Nobody wants to be embarrassed, be like, oh yeah, I gave up on that. Like, nobody wants to do that. So having people not really holding you accountable, but at least asking you about it gives you a sense of accountability on yourself. Seek out someone who has already achieved the outcome that you're seeking. And so as far as procrastination is concerned, one of the things it's a daunting task. It feels like a heavy lift. But if you speak to somebody who said that they already did it, for instance, I had in the process of like, oh, I really want to write a book. I don't know how to write a book. My English isn't the best. My grammar sucks. I don't know where to begin. That was the advice that was given to me. Tayla, just begin. A book can always be edited. Like, edits happen. That's why there's so many different versions and so many different editions. Like the 31st edition, it's been edited 31 different times. That's not a problem. That's not an issue. Just get it out there. And so seeking someone who has already achieved that goal. For instance, you're procrastinating about starting your business. Have a conversation with someone who already started their business. Well, you're in business and you're procrastinating about actually solidifying your business. Talk to somebody who was side hustling for years and then converted their business into a real business. You're procrastinating about breaking up with someone because you don't want to be alone. Talk to somebody who spent 20 years alone. It's completely freeing. It's a feeling that you can never just tell somebody, to not have anyone to answer to, or someone to question you, or someone to annoy the hell out of you. Like, all the, different strokes for different folks, but whatever it is that you are seeking to do, look for someone else who has done that thing, who has accomplished what it is that you're looking to do. Clarify your goals or re-clarifying them. Sometimes I have to go back in the notebook and see, what is it that I actually said that I wanted? What is this thing? Like, I have to go back and re-clarify what goal it is that I'm trying to achieve. And because sometimes I be going down rabbit holes, like, I really want to do this thing, but this is like an offshoot of this thing, and I could do this and that and that. And it's just like, hold on, let's bring it back to center really quickly. Let's bring it back and focus on what is the thing you're attempting to accomplish. What is that one thing? Let's focus on that. And so re-clarifying your goals. Sometimes you procrastinate because you done went down a rabbit hole. Sometimes we procrastinate because we think we're doing the thing that aligns with our goals, but it is so far removed from what our goals were initially that it looks completely different from the original goal. Stop overcomplicating things. We overcomplicate everything. And the reason why we overcomplicate everything is because if it's overcomplicated, that gives me a reason to procrastinate because it's too daunting, it's too heavy, it's too much to do. If you overcomplicate it, then it gives you a reason why you get to procrastinate, or it confirms your procrastination was rightly so because it's so complicated. Conversations, we complicate conversations with family members, with our spouse, with our children, overcomplicating conversations, overcomplicating just individual things that could be done in order to get to us to where we're going to get to. Again, going back to the call center, I overcomplicated every single last point of it. But then when you break it down and you're just like, there's a company that can do 90% of what it is that we need them to do. What is that company? Okay, let's find out. Oh, damn, they do everything that I thought I needed to do. This company does it. And so when you stop overcomplicating things, if you keep it simple, like there's a book called Keep It Simple, Stupid. If you just keep it simple and don't try to add too much onto it, too many building blocks, trying to make it complex, just keep it simple and just do it. Just do it and I don't mean just do it in the physical sense, just do it in your mind. Because until your mind is made up that you're going to do this thing, until your mind is made up that you are going to accomplish this task, until your mind is ready to do a thing, the rest of you is going to lag. And you're not going to complete it. You're not going to want to do it. It's going to be worthless to you until you get your mind right and say, I am going to complete this thing. You are going to forever be in a state of perpetuating procrastination because your mind is not there. And so just do it. If it's something that you actually want to do, get it done. Get her done. Good rising, Philip. How are you? And so there's a couple more comments that I'm going to read. Of course, Kathy, our condolences to your friend. A timer helps so much, especially, listen, when it comes to cleaning, start sending a 15-minute timer when it comes to cleaning. So if cleaning is your daunting task, if laundry is your daunting task, if whatever it is, set a timer and say, for the next 30 minutes, this is what I'm going to do. For the next 15 minutes, this is what I'm going to do. Meditating and calming my mind. You guys see how much I talk? Imagine what the hell goes through my mind. So it's this times 100. And so I was just like, I will not be able to meditate. I don't think I will ever be able to calm down my mind. So what I did first and foremost was I set a timer 30 seconds. We are going to clear our mind for 30 seconds. We're not going to, and now it gets to the point where I can meditate and forget what time it is and be like, damn, I got to get baby rain. We got to get out the house. It's time to go. I've been over here in this corner for way too long. And so it just really being mindful of your time and governing yourself accordingly when it comes to time will give you more time than you actually need. And you'll be able to spend more time doing leisurely things instead of these things of work related, because what you're really doing is busy work to make yourself feel like you're actually doing something. Kathy said that she loves forensic files and wonders what that's doing to her brain. Andrea said, do you think people procrastinate because they're aimless in life? I think people procrastinate because they may not know what exactly they want to do in life. And so maybe not aimless is the word, but can you guys give me 10 minutes? Please, thank you. And so do I think that people procrastinate because they're aimless? I don't think it's necessarily aimless, but I don't think there's a book out here that properly instructs you on whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. And so we are trying to figure this out and we don't utilize best practices. We're not seeking out those with answers and solutions, but too much having conversations with people who are trying to, talk us out of whatever it is that we're attempting to do. And so if you actually went to somebody who accomplished what it is that you're attempting to accomplish, you would then have more of a yellow brick road to follow. Good rising, good rising. How are you? I'm having goals that are exciting enough to cancel the procrastination. That's beautiful. Good rising, Opal. How are you? Zion, you needed to hear this. Amen. Ashe, I am glad I was able to give this message to you. We have come all the way to the top of the hour. I am TaylaAndre. Just do it. Stop procrastinating. And once you tell your mind that you're ready to get something done, again, let's go through the 11 tips really, really quickly on how to stop procrastinating. Is this it? No. Where's my 11 tips? I think I X'd it out because we were done talking. Damn it. So the 11 tips was first and foremost, just set your mind and believe you can do it and know that you're going to move forward. 2, break it down into bits and pieces so it's not overwhelming. And then sometimes you have to break those bits and pieces down into bits and pieces. Going back to the book was broken down into chapters. Those chapters were broken down into bullets. Those bullets were then broken down into actual bite-sized pieces. Going back to the entire steak, you don't throw a whole steak in your mouth. You cut it up into little pieces and then you can have digestible bites. And so, breaking things down into little pieces, understanding that you are and will always be a magical individual that, you just have to get things done. Sometimes you have to change your environment. Believing that, going back to like you're a magical being and you can get things done if you choose to get them done. And so if your mind is not there, you might as well not waste any damn time, because you will be out here wasting freaking time if your mind is not ready to get out here and do the work. Change your environment. It can change your outlook. It can change your creativity. It can change your, the way that you work, the feng shui of it all, creating detailed timelines with specific deadlines in order to get things done. Your rough draft is due here. Your final draft is due here. The, all encompassing done is due at this time. When you set you set these mini goals, the first chapter is due in a week. The second chapter is due in 2 weeks. You have 7 chapters. The book will be done in 7 weeks. Breaking it down into itty bitty pieces. 4, eliminating procrastination pit stops. First, understanding what your procrastination pit stops are. Is it the fact that you are spending too much time listening to music, watching television, you're on social media too much, hanging out with the wrong people? Start hanging out with people who inspire you to take action, people who hold you accountable, people who may or may not hold your hand and take you to the next level. Telling other people about your goals and letting them remind you like, hey, you said you were going to do this thing. They may not be your accountability partner, but they're reminding you of this thing that you said that you were going to do. And if you don't, nobody want to sit here and say, well, I gave up on that. And so having little reminders of things that you said you were going to do helps you get on the right track. Seek someone who has already achieved the outcome. Re-clarifying your goals, going back to when you went ahead and you wrote up brain dump, diarrhea of the mouth, write it all out. What is it that you want? What do you see? What do you envision? What does the perfect picture look like? And then when you're here on page 35, sometimes you got to go back and revisit the original goal and see if you're still there, or did you fall down a rabbit hole thinking you were going to do something else? Stop overcomplicating things. Well, damn, how am I going to eat this steak? I don't know how to eat this steak. This is a really big steak. Where am I going to fit the steak? I can't just put the whole steak in my mouth. Stop overcomplicating things. Go ahead and cut up the itty bitty pieces. It's not as hard as you think it is if you just break it down to the simplest point. And I'm thinking about like the building blocks of life. An atom is a simple little atom, but when you got 1 million atoms, you got a whole human. And so, yeah, I'm a complicated being, but you break me down to my smallest molecule, the atom itself, It's a lot easy, and it's no longer overcomplicating things. Getting a grip on things and just doing it. Going back to your mind. You can't do a damn thing if your mind ain't into it. And so I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Everything TaylaAndre is TaylaAndre.com. I wrote a book. I created a course. For those who are lazy as hell, there's an audio book. Let me help you prepare for home ownership. Help you fix your credit, get you right so your family could be right. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Mwah.